Sure.
You have to talk really loud.
Okay. You going?
Yes, I'm going. What do you want me to...
This is going to include some editing too. Okay, I'm here at DragonCon 2009 with Steve Scott, Championship Illustrator. Artist of Indiana Jones and whatever the hell that says.
Temple of Doom.
Okay.
No, Tomb of the Gods.
Okay.
Tomb of the Gods,
All right.
Shoki.
Well, it could be Temple. It could be Temple of
Yeah, what he's holding up, what he had up there was the French edition. So, obviously, yes. Hard to read that.
Okay, how long have you been doing this?
Since 1994.
Professionally?
Professional since 1994.
Drawings,
Oh yeah. Always loved drawing. Always loved storytelling.
What was your big break? How did you get discovered?
Working for Malibu Comics. I did Nightman. I did well before that I did a Grenade and Electrocute stories. Malibu Comics. Then Nightman, a little sludge story. And then after that, during the time period Malibu got bought out by Marvel.
Yeah.
I went on to do a lot of independent books. A lot of independent publishers were hiring me, but on good projects like Razor, that was really popular, Razor Uncut, and I later did the Razor series with David Quinn. And from there on, Marvel, DC, it kept growing,
So you have a lot of people come up to you asking you for tips, like little kids maybe want to get into the business.
Comics aren't getting to little kids anymore, so they're not asking me tips.
Because
Unfortunately,
they're more interested in video games.
it's
movies.
no, I don't know. Yeah, normally it's about your 20 to 30-year-olds that are like asking me for tips, and some of them are showing me their portfolios. With every one of them, it's like know how to diversify, know how to storytell. Anatomy and perspective is just a tool in your toolbox. Storytelling is what we do. We're not artists, we're storytellers. We're illustrators.
Okay, you come from an area that a lot of people don't associate with comic book artists. When you hear comic book artists, you think of New York, maybe LA.
Yes.
You're from the Gulf Coast.
Yes, Mississippi.
And there's a lot of other guys there, like Derek O'Quinn, John Dell, people like that.
Mitch Bird,
Bird.
Stephen Butler.
I don't even know what happened to Richard Ory, but he's from down there. He got into it with Howard Chaykin.
Yes, he did. Yes, yeah. But he did beautiful color work. I mean, it was great.
How did you contact somebody from down there, from Mississippi?
Yeah, Mississippi.
From Mississippi. How did you? Was it a convention or something?
Well, no. I met some people that were living up in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, which is only an hour drive away from me, hour and a half. And they were working in comics, and they actually had a friend, Roland Mann, who was a writer who moved up to being an editor at Malibu. How he did that would be a story for Roland. I have no idea. But anyway, we all got together, and they saw that I had potential. And we worked on a book called Hurricane LaRue together. We were publishing ourselves, self-published book. But I think it was in the completion of that, and working with this inker on this, and working with this writer on this, Roland saw that I could actually do the stuff. And then he gave me my first break. He gave me my first break.
So here you are, comic book professional. What did you actually think you were going to be doing when you were like maybe 15? Did you think you were going to be a comic book professional, or do you think you're going to be working at the plant somewhere?
It was the weirdest thing. I would say that my mother and everybody else around me would say, you need to be working at Ingalls Shipyard. I work with great artists that are at Ingalls doing drafting because they need to make money. And that's what I heard. It was the status quo thing. Do what is expected in this area because that's all there is to be expected. And it was unfortunate, and unfortunately I eventually left there to Atlanta, where I work with a lot of people and live around a lot of people that do what I do and are successful, and there's a different mindset. There are no limitations by your geography. There really aren't.
When you were growing up, were you mostly influenced by Marvel? I'm just looking at this.
No. I love the Hulk, the first comics, one of the first comics I ever read. But the science fiction and fantasy stuff, Micronauts, Star Wars, Adam Adam Strange was way before my time, but I eventually, found and discovered Adam Strange. I love that stuff too. I love Time Warp. I love the anthology series, the horror anthologies. No, Time Warp was a DC comic, a dollar comic.
Oh yeah.
But I loved a little bit of everything. I was fortunate. Which one do you want? I liked a little bit of everything, and I just wanted the storytelling.
What are you working on right now?
X-Men.
Other than getting out of this interview.
Not working on that at all. X-Men Forever with writer Chris Clobberin. So I'm working on issues 7, 8, and 9. I'm going to be finishing up issue 9 this week.
Now you're the penciler on this.
Yes, the pencil.
Who's your inker?
Alvin.
Okay. Now, there was some question a while back as to how much of the original art an inker should get. But now, an inker doesn't actually have to touch your page, does it?
It doesn't have to. Al does. He's the only inker I've actually worked with that's not got computer, like internet, computer stuff. So Al, I send them actually physically to Al.
Yeah.
He inks on the board and then sends them back over.
Yeah, well, you're like old school then.
Yeah, with him. Now typically now, there's projects that I've worked on with inkers that were in the UK or in Spain, where I've digitally sent them the artwork, and the pencil piece still remained with me, and so it got inked by them and pencil over here. I got an example of something I got from one of those inkers, because I like to show people exactly what it is that I do as a penciler, and I'll eventually get to this. There it is, right here. This was an example. This is the penciled original. I just digitally scanned it here in Atlanta in my studio, and then he printed that out in non-photo blue, and he did the ink work, and the two never had to connect until I made contact with them.
Yeah, there are some people who never meet. I heard that Joe Sennett only met Kirby once or twice. You would think that they were thick as thieves, but last year Steve Rude was here, and he was the guest of honor. And a guy walks over to him and he shakes his hand, and I heard him say, "Hi, I'm Adam Hughes. I'm a big fan of yours." I thought all you guys knew each other. I thought you hung out in like seedy cartoonist bars.
It's always assumed. Yeah. No, we can't afford to leave our studios. The deadlines are crunching upon us.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, well, thanks a lot. We're looking forward to
thank you.
X-Men, you and Chris Claremont.
That's right. Matter of fact, the first one of mine is coming out next week.
Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.